So what we're going to talk about tonight is being able to, as parents, create rules that will be both effective and in a loving and caring manner. So the first step to being an effective leader in your family is by creating rules. What we have here are some different concepts that can help you create these rules so that the child can obey them better. Our first concept tonight is rules are values in action. So we need to learn and help our children understand what our values are within our home. When they understand the values and the rewards that it brings, then it is more likely that they will obey those rules. And the next concept, rules hold family together. So with this, we want to help the child know that they are not an outcast because they've misbehaved and have a consequence. We want to come together as a family and say, for example, Johnny, what are we going to do about your anger with your little brother? Instead of, Johnny, go to your room right now. So when we have these rules, the child understands what's expected of them and how to obey that rule by knowing what's expected. The third concept is we focus on what we want. So we want to make these rules what we want and not focus on what we do not want. So in an example of Johnny throwing his dirty shoes on the floor when he comes home from school and tossing his backpack on the couch, we don't say, Johnny, don't do that. We say, Johnny, can you do me a favor? Can you help me out and put your basketball shoes away and put your backpack in your room? And when we are kind and nice about that, then Johnny is more able to follow that rule. The next concept is making the rule specific. What causes confusion in a lot of children is not knowing the specifics of the rule. If it's too general, then the child becomes confused, and when you're confused, it is easier for anybody to break the rule if they're not confused about what the rule is. What we focus on grows. We talk about that in focusing on the good, focusing on Johnny's good behaviors. We do not ignore the negative, but we focus on the good. And when we focus on the good, then it grows. Next consequence is choosing rewards and consequences. So we as parents, we have to be able to enforce these rules. If we do not enforce them, then they're not rules. What we continue to say in this is always continue highlighting the good, and it helps the child to obey the rules more. The next concept is including your child in making the rules when appropriate. So when the child cooperates with the parents, they know the specifics. They know what the rule is and what happens when they break it. A good way to create these rules in an appropriate time would be family meetings. The next concept is making sure your child understands each rule. And we talked about being specific in the rule and having them help create the rules so that they know what it is, they know the consequences, and they are clear on what the rule is. And we continue to focus on the good. We always continue to focus on what the child is doing good. And so tonight, what we focused on are the rules, our family values within action. The next part is the rule holds the families together. If there were no rules, it would be chaos and anarchy. The next one we talked about is making rules of what we want and not of what we don't want. The next part we talked about making the rules specific so that the child understands what the rule is and they can focus on the good and we can focus on what they're doing right. We choose rewards and consequences, but we have to be willing to enforce them upon our children or else there is no promise. The next, we include our child in making rules, and we can do this in family meetings. The next concept, making sure the child understands each rule. When they understand, they can obey. So what we want to focus on always, if this is the only thing you get out of tonight, we focus on the good. And when we focus on the good, it grows. Thank you.